right. Illiterate Book Club. We just watched episode 5. I can't. It just seems so long now.
What's the fancy
What
word?
day is it?
The penultimate. How do you
The
say?
penultimate.
I can't even say it.
Penultimate.
Yeah. Anyways, the 5th episode.
The next to last episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, my brain is. I mean, you didn't want. You saw it coming,
Oh,
but you wanted her to have a turn.
All right. Well, let's just kind of go
we'll
through
kind of
here.
go slightly through
We'll
before
walk
we
through
dive
this.
into the deep stuff. But
So
for
first, kind of
Yeah.
chronologically, we had obviously the story with Varys at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Writing, telling people, and we don't know how many people he's informed.
Or did he inform? Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was writing notes, and it looked like he already had some bound up to go on pigeons.
Right.
Or ravens, sorry.
Yeah.
But the
Pigeon.
yeah, pigeons. But no, at this point, I kind of assume he's told people, and the word's gotten out. But at the same time, we have that conversation at the beginning where he talks to Jon, and Jon again denies wanting the throne.
Right.
And I believe him; he doesn't want it. But
Now.
I think by the end of this episode, he finally sees that he has to take it.
Exactly. Oh, or something.
So let's build up to that. So
Varys, but I mean
Varys gets executed.
Yeah, but I mean even more than that, Tyrion.
He rats him out.
And Varys is the one who saved him initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a sad parting of the ways for these friends.
Right.
Because I really liked Varys. Varys was one of those people that you weren't really sure about for a long time.
But finally he died for the realm.
He lived up to his word, and he the more the show went, the more he proved to be true to what he was saying.
And he did say, he said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right,
But I think Varys was right.
Yeah.
But even in that moment, it felt weird because, again, I understand the idea of having to kill someone who betrays you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it feels really wrong because of why the whole, situation, why she had to kill him and why she was angry and why he betrayed her or what they consider to be a betrayal at this point.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't feel like he was telling the truth about the situation.
Right, but I mean, what he was doing.
Right, undermining her.
Yeah. But
still, I mean, to have Jon Snow right beside her.
Yeah.
And everyone just watching him burn. That was a rough scene.
Wasn't there a tinge, a shot to Jon Snow, a little bit like a.
Yeah. I think. I mean, it's hard to say, but yeah, it kind of looked. I don't think he was comfortable with it.
Right. So let's, I guess, move right along.
Yeah. Tyrion stuck by her, but is in hot water at this point.
And then Tyrion finding out about Jaime, and she basically gave him, told him, hey, one more mistake and you're out.
Anything,
here. You know what I mean?
And it seems like he may have done it.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't work at all. His plan.
Yeah. Well, it kind of worked.
I guess.
I don't. Well, I mean, I don't. It doesn't show. I can't assume. We can't. Yeah, I can't. We can't assume that Jaime was responsible for the bells ringing.
No, we can't.
But But Tyrion doesn't know that.
No, but either way, it was just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it looks like
nothing
he's
worked.
Going to be in hot water.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't think this may be the end of Lannister.
Fire.
The last Lannister is gonna.
Right. So yeah, the battle. I mean. I did think it kind of was a little bit odd that she was so fast to destroy the Iron Fleet.
Yeah, they really quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as hard as it was in earlier battles.
Right.
She was just already in rage mode.
Right. It was just because, I mean, the way Tyrion was so confident, I thought he might have.
A tactical thing.
Right. He had a tactical way, or maybe the dragon somehow had some armor or something.
Right. I guess maybe it was just he knew how furious she was and how and maybe unstoppable she was.
He knew that she was with the sunlight. Maybe that was part of the plan. But I mean, at the same time, it's she's still taking a lot of risk. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that thing dodged a lot of arrows.
Yeah,
it was untouchable. It didn't even get scathed by any of those.
No,
bolts.
It didn't. Which was kind of shocking. I think what they were trying to do is show last week. Oh man, because they wanted you to think it was going to be a close battle, and they didn't necessarily want you to think of what was going to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? That she was just. they wanted you to think that maybe she'd be justified in what she was about to do, but
Right.
she,
It's a lot of setup.
again,
for
that was
that.
a lot of
and
setup.
it's-
So
yeah,
he was, that Iron Fleet was out of the way. All the arrows or all the
right.
dragon
And
killer
then
stuff
hitting
was
the
out of the way.
walls and
Right.
taking out the Golden Army and
Yeah, that was
busting through the gate. That got me
was
off
a
guard.
cool
That was really
shot,
cool.
yeah.
Where just the gate. But then I'm like, man, this fire is like super strong
right.
to like knock down walls.
Which I guess we saw that with, which granted it's blue fire, but the
Right.
Night King doing that to the.
Yeah, I attributed that to it melting the ice, but
Right.
at this point, yeah, this looks like the fire has some like force behind it.
Yeah, crazy
too.
force. Yeah, very strong.
So and
Um,
it's the
yeah.
biggest dragon.
So yeah, and then I think they storm in and they're winning.
Yep.
Pretty easily. They come up to the
The inner-
Lannister forces.
The inner keep.
Yeah, the Lannister forces, not the sellswords.
Yeah,
And they throw down their weapons. They surrender.
but it's like that standoff.
Right.
That was like
yeah.
a really intense moment. Where
Right.
it was like a couple minutes straight of just silence.
Yeah.
Sort of waiting.
And I mean, I guess in retrospect, you're completely right. But you said she didn't look like she was happy the bells started to ring.
Yeah, I mean, like those bells started ringing. Tyrion was relieved.
Yeah.
And even Jon Snow looked relieved.
Yeah.
But then, like, she just started yelling and getting furious.
Right.
It just looked like I think she wanted to fight. I think she wanted them to fight and to be justified in doing what she was planning on doing from the beginning, which was
Yeah.
burn the whole city down.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess we could kind of go back a little bit. I know we kind of skipped ahead, but with her and John, that part of being in the room,
Right.
it looked like that was going to be the last hope for maybe him to be able to save her soul. I guess.
Well,
to a certain degree,
kind of
you
like
know what I mean?
walk her back from the edge.
Right, because she was on the edge.
Yeah.
She said, they don't love me as much as they love you. He said, you'll
Yeah.
always be my queen.
Yeah, I love you. Like
Hey,
she,
I
like,
love you,
because she
you
says she
know.
has no love, and he's
He
like,
said,
I love you.
And
You're
then,
my queen.
And then she kind of tries to get intimate, and he backs off again. And I don't 100% know, but I mean, the way I read it is okay. He knows she's his aunt, and that's like something that's a turnoff.
the whole situation's changed.
right, and
But,
then instantly she
yeah.
says, "Well, then fear." So she,
Right.
it's like she, in that moment, that's when she's completely switched.
Yeah, and you could see that building in an earlier episode when she, in a similar situation where she begged him not to tell anyone.
Right, and she was basically begging him for love again.
Yeah, and
And he screws up once again.
well, I mean, it's a difficult situation, right?
Take
But
one for the team and sleep
Right.
with your aunt. She's hot anyways, and you've
you
done
would
it
you would have
already.
saved a lot of people, right?
Right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's Jon Snow. He's the honorable
Sure.
man who will live by his codes.
And get the whole city burned. Anyways.
But okay, now fast forward back to that. The bells start ringing. She starts burning everyone, and
Right.
then I
Unsullied.
can't remember. Yeah, the Unsullied Grey Worm, but that's
Yeah.
not his name anymore, and I can't remember his proper name.
Yeah. I
But
don't know.
he is the first to start attacking unarmed
Right.
Lannister troops, Red Keep troops, and then the Unsullied, and then
The North.
follows, and Jon Snow is sitting there trying to get his men to
Right.
back off, and
But I thought that was a telling moment that Grey Worm looked back
and
saw,
sees him doing it.
John
Yeah.
saying, "Stop, stop, stop."
And then what's crazy to me too is this, like the nature of it, right? It kind of is one of those scenes that really shows the reverse side, because you're really like, we all through this whole time we've been seeing the North is the good guys,
Right.
and now like this almost looks identical to those scenes in like the earlier seasons where the Lannister army or one of these other armies who are invading are just raping and pillaging, like they're killing innocents,
Right.
they're just rampaging
Right.
without concern for human life.
Yeah.
And so who other than Jon Snow is the only one sitting out there trying to stop them.
Well, it just kind of shows to a certain degree, like almost a part of, I guess they're on a different planet or whatever they're on, but it's like human nature, as like for a long time they've been the oppressed, and for a long time they had maybe had the power and the way, the upper
Right.
hand.
I mean, yeah,
It just shows them, when they do have the upper hand, they're just as ruthless
right.
as
And
anybody
that's
else.
that's a thing of history and human nature, I think, in
Right.
general, that we
Yeah.
can all kind of appreciate in that moment of that. And that's the great thing about this series, has been
Yeah.
doing that, showing those complexities, that good
Right.
guys don't stay good guys.
And I guess what would be the next thing we can go back to that because that's pivotal. I mean, that keeps continuing. Her
Right.
just murking
The
through
slaughter
everybody.
that's once it starts, that's through the end of the
Right.
episode.
But I mean, I guess the next big plot point would be Clegane Bowl finally happening.
Yeah, yeah, the Mountain versus the Hound.
Yeah.
Rematch.
Yeah, and finally,
Which
him dying. Yeah, I mean, I guess him
yeah.
dying by fire, which it looked like for a second he wasn't gonna win.
I know. I was really they set up for the head pop,
Yeah, they did.
and I was kind of expecting it for half a second,
Yeah.
but he stabs with that, and then that guy can't die. Like he
Yeah,
really
yeah,
whatever magic that Meister did,
Yeah. Some kind of something.
Meister,
there.
whatever they call him,
Yeah, he
Meister.
died. He died.
Yeah,
fast
he
enough.
died like head wall smash, and
The very Frankensteinish show.
yeah. Well, that was the cool
My
part
best.
too. Was the fact that like he's this kind of programmed zombie that
Right.
we've seen, but I guess just like the hatred of his brother
Right.
was so overpowering that he didn't care
Mhm.
what these people were like commanding him. He was like, "No, I'm killing this guy,"
Right.
and that's when he kills.
Yeah.
And Cersei, being intelligent enough to know when she needs to leave,
She's like, okay, I'm out of here.
"Bye."
Yeah. She's like, I'm getting
Yep.
out of here.
Deuces.
And I mean, it was a fitting end to both of them. I mean, he died doing what he died by fire.
Yeah,
you
he
know,
died by fire, and he died
but he died killing his brother.
killing his brother like he always wanted.
Right.
So and then from the Cleglanes
To the Hound, or not to the Hound,
to Arya.
to Arya.
Oh,
yeah.
and then you have that like before that point,
yeah,
that kind of great moment where, of course we followed Arya and Hound
right.
going into the city with the crowds and fighting with the crowds
Yeah.
and jostling and getting there, and then in the map room everything's coming down,
Mm-hmm.
and the Hound like has this great moment of plead.
Yeah, if you come with me, you're going to die.
You're going to die, and not only that, but sort of that
Don't be
don't
like me.
yeah don't you can be better than this.
Do you think in that moment she's turning around, maybe deciding, hey, I want to be the lady almost to a certain degree? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
maybe not the lady so much, but I think
she's choosing life. I
yeah,
guess.
and it could lead to that maybe, but it's at this point just saying that
Right.
she's finally seeing that she could live a life that isn't focused on death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a big turning point for her because from season 1, ever since she saw her dad killed,
Yeah.
her focus throughout this entire series has been
Revenge.
killing people
Right.
and learning how to kill people, getting in the position to kill people, and it's been the last couple seasons that we've seen her finally like come to
Right.
fruition, all of those list of names that she wants to mark off.
Yeah.
But now she's like the last name,
Yeah.
and she is convinced that she doesn't need to pursue it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think you have, her trying to escape the city, which was very intense. Like, it looked multiple moments that maybe she was going to just go die anyways.
I think that was just to make a note, I think that was a great opportunity they took with showing through her eyes the sort of pandemonium that the people of that town were
Right.
experiencing.
Yeah.
Because you don't see it through Jon Snow and the soldiers,
Yeah, yeah.
but seeing her running with them and trying to just
Escape
get
the
out
fire.
and being trampled and
Yeah.
being pulled up and getting smashed in rubble,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I guess at the very end, you kind of, what is her thinking here? Is she thinking, hey, let's hightail it? We kind of know slightly from the last one that she doesn't completely leave. Leave the city. It looks like she was walking.
Oh yeah,
within
from the
city.
preview that
From
they
the
showed at
preview,
the
yeah,
end.
which I guess we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. What else do we need to touch on, really? Dany's just full on Mad Queen at this point.
Yeah, looks like
she's burning it. Not looks like she did.
Yeah, she burned everyone, and
Yeah.
now like it looks like she's set up to be a tyrant.
Right. Yeah,
And,
she's for sure. They even, if you notice, they even do the darker tones with her at the preview. It's like she's
Right.
coming down, her unsullied all. Instead of them looking like they're
Yeah.
liberators, they almost look like almost like a Nazi type setup to a
The
certain
yeah
degree.
the
Or the
occupying
Empire, you know what I mean?
the occupying army.
Right. Yeah.
Those and the Dothraki.
Yeah.
These foreign armies.
Yeah.
And
very-
she has no connection to the people that she now rules.
Right. Yeah, she's definitely like, gonna rule by fear.
Yeah.
And so you had John. I guess that's another point to look at. We kind of talked slightly that he saw it, and we kind of talked about with Tyrion. Tyrion looks like he's stuck around, and that really freaks me out.
Yeah, Tyrion staying in the city, like,
Does she know he gave
I
up?
think it's, you know,
Jaime,
as far
right?
as we know, yeah, because they would have at some point noticed that Jaime wasn't in the tent anymore,
Right.
and the fact they didn't address that before the battle,
Yeah.
and then even without that, there's going to be a coming to terms because he begged her and she said she would stand down
Right.
if they rang the bells and gave up,
Yeah.
and she didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so even if she isn't like antagonistic towards him for his mistake with letting Jaime go,
Yeah. She's crazy.
he's gonna
already.
he's gonna have to confront the fact that she's now who she
Crazy.
is,
Yeah, who she is, the Mad Queen.
and burning everything.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like, I mean, Jon Snow knew. He said fall back.
Yeah, he really tried.
So yeah, it didn't show him in the preview. It does not know if he's actually staying there.
Right.
Well, I mean, it looked like at the very end he did gather some of his northern troops to flee.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he got everyone to fall back. So
Right, but is he hightailing it back to the north? Is he?
I don't know. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, is he gonna stick around and try to talk some
Yeah, this
sense
is
into
because now
senseless people?
Cersei's gone. It's all between him and her and Sansa and Arya,
Yeah,
and so it's, you know, who's going to be the last Targaryen standing, I guess, is the question here.
I guess, and so it shows that, you know, I guess in that moment, the pivotal moment, and I guess we're kind of skipping back and forth, but
Right.
it was the end of the episode with Arya. You know, in the preview, she stuck around.
Right. And then, well, I mean, you have her riding off on the horse. That's the last thing
Right.
we see. So
That's what she sees, but then in the
where she's
next-
riding to
Right.
is the question, right?
But you know, it looks like she's riding down the city. But then later on, unless that was just a trick of the camera, it looks like she's observing. She's observing these people come in. You know, the
Right.
Unsullied,
I mean,
and
she.
seeing
I mean,
for
like I
what
said,
it
she
is.
could be just going to another part of the city, trying to look for
Right.
Danny.
Yeah, I mean, because I think that's what it's setting up, is that
Yeah.
she's trying to kill.
Well, I
him.
mean, because she was trying to rescue these people, and now she's seeing them burned.
Right.
So it to me, it really played that hard role of showing her, giving her motivation
Yeah.
to turn to, like, maybe she has one more name on her list now
Yeah, that's true.
in the form of Danny.
What color are Danny's eyes? I don't know. She's killed a lot of people. Is it
Yeah,
green?
she's trying to ask me now. I don't know.
Green?
No, I don't think it has. I don't
Yeah.
think it will say anything about that because she
No.
killed the Eyes of Blue. Was the
Yeah, well, the last one actually they retconned it. Eyes of Green was the last one she said. So they like in the third season, I heard about that. They retconned that where they finished it with blue instead of saying finished it with green.
Huh.
So, anyways, they could kind of harken back to that. I don't know.
possibly.
So yeah, I mean, it looks like she's definitely going to go after the
Yeah,
Mad
whether
Queen.
she not. Well, I mean, she may not be
She might
successful.
Yeah.
And then, but you also have the conflict that's going to happen between her and Jon Snow.
Well, yeah, if Jon Snow didn't flee, and if he
Right.
did,
I don't think
is
he
she
does.
going to go with the dragon?
I don't think he does. I mean, I don't think that's in his character to do that. I think he's determined to stand up and do the right thing.
What's the right thing at this point?
I think he's going to listen to Varys and think about what he said. And I think he's going to
Well, yeah, but
realize
I'm
that.
saying what by staying there makes him possible to do that. I mean, her
Oh,
army's taking
right.
it over.
Yeah, I mean,
the
I don't know.
North
I don't
doesn't
know
have
what his
the-
tactics would be,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm saying like he's not just going to run away. He's
Right, but would
Yeah.
you run away, fall back to regather? You know
right.
what I mean,
Let's
I
say
guess.
he's with his army.
Yeah.
So wherever his army's at, that's where he's
So,
at.
I mean, do you feel like we've pretty much covered this episode, and we've
I
kinda
think
talked slightly
so.
about the future?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's just touch. I guess we talk about the actual death scene for Cersei.
No, we didn't
So
talk about Jaime and Cersei.
So they go out together.
Right, and I know there's somebody at the Valonqar, and I don't know if that's a book thing, but they talk about you will die with the hands of your younger brother on your neck. And
Yeah, I
guess
think
it kinda-
they showed that in the show, like
Yeah,
the
so
like one of the
he
earlier
kind of-
seasons.
He kind of like everybody associated with strangulation, but it was actually
Right.
like a loving embrace.
Yeah, which really surprised me. I was kind of, I don't know. I kind of was disappointed with that because Jaime, I was hoping he would actually turn away from her at some point, like
Yeah.
realize who she is and try to be the better person. But I
Yeah.
guess he was just too in love with her, too set in his ways with her.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that moment of potential with Brienne
Yeah, to
that
stay-
kind of
stay
makes
in
it
love.
more heartbreaking that he didn't
Right.
let go of it. He
Yeah.
could have stayed in the north
Yeah.
and he could have escaped it all, but
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah, it did happen, and obviously the Ironborn guy died as well. The king, he killed another king.
Yeah, he did kill another king, and so pretty much all the enemies.
Yeah.
Now it's just the infighting that's going to happen between the North and Daenerys' army.
It looks like that. I mean, because really, I don't know what you do to her now besides Arya. That's really
something like Arya, or something. There's going to have to be some kind of like Julius Caesar moment of people turning up against her.
Exactly. Where do you think though she killed all the people in King's Landing that would?
Yeah. So it's Tyrion, Arya, and Jon Snow and Sansa, I think, are the four that are going to have to do something.
Yeah. Where do you think next week's going to go?
Oh my goodness. Fast? I mean, I don't know.
They didn't give you much.
They didn't give you anything.
Yeah, the only thing you saw was Arya looking, and Tyrion's still there.
They're there. That's all we know. So if I had to throw a shot in the dark, I think Dany's gonna die.
I don't know.
I mean, it's possible they could end it with her rule.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had that theory that I kind of threw out earlier, and I don't think I've heard this one. But what if she does go ahead and execute everybody, and it looks awful?
She survives.
She survives, but then you find out she's pregnant with Jon Snow's baby,
and then the line continues with them. So
and then
so that's a possibility. So I think that's our two options right now is that she dies and either Jon Snow goes out with her or sits on the Iron Throne, if there is still an Iron Throne,
right?
Or I mean, the other option I've been thinking is both of them die. The Seven Kingdoms break apart, and you have people like Sansa, who like kind of takes up a ruling position in the north, and the other kingdoms find their own leaders.
Yeah, I don't really know at this point.
It's still an open game. They're holding everything.
So who's your
close
top two? Like who's your top one?
Top two.
Like where's it at now? I mean,
I'm gonna go with.
I guess you can say top three.
I mean
third most unlikely.
Third least likely.
Yeah.
Is I don't think Dany's on the throne. I think they're setting it up for her not to keep it. I think there's going to be that turn.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I don't know.
You have a pretty solid theory.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a theory. It's a hypothesis for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so two.
Jon Snow, I guess. Is that where it's at?
Jon Snow. I'm going to go to nobody.
Okay.
There is no United Kingdoms. There is no
faceless god sits over there.
some random deity.
Yeah.
One Jon Snow.
Okay. So you believe Jon Snow's going to hit it?
I'm really on the fence about my 1 and 2. There may not be a real order there. So quick, you give us yours.
Yeah. I mean, I guess number three, I would say nobody.
Nobody.
Number two, I think that Dany scenario where maybe she does sit on the throne, but then maybe she even kills Jon and kills Tyrion or whatever. But then you find out that maybe she's pregnant, and that could be the bittersweet almost ending. That you think, okay, well at least he will be sane. Maybe
flip a coin, right?
Right.
Flip a coin.
At that point, I don't know.
Which number two?
Remember number one.
My number one, yeah.
Number one, I guess going back to the Jon, the Starks ruling it. Jon,
the
group,
Targaryen Stark, Jon, and
Tyrion. Well, I don't necessarily think Tyrion would have to be a part of it at that point, but definitely
you still need a hand.
Right. No, I mean he would be great, but I think I don't know. That's what I don't like. I feel like about this season is that unless he has some good, awesome moment at the end. I feel like they've really sucked at writing him for the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yep, there's still one more episode.
Yeah, so we gotta stick that landing for
next
us to
week.
Be excited for Star Wars.
Next week, yeah, right. So next week, join us again for the final Game of Thrones episode.
Absolutely, and it's 10 years in the making.
My goodness.
Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be here next week. We have John Wick 2 commentary going up. We have some extra stuff about Detective Pikachu. Just appreciate everybody's support and stick with us.
Yeah. See you next time.
See you.